Before you decide between Prescott Valley and Chino Valley, you really need to hear this because we are seeing buyers move here, choose the wrong area, and within a few months, they regret it. Why? Let's find out. So why within a few months or sometimes even a year do people regret moving to Prescott Valley or Chino Valley? Well, it's not because the house they bought was bad, but because the lifestyle didn't match what they thought they were getting. And the scary part is, most of the things people believe about these two towns are completely wrong. Today, we're going to break down the 10 points buyers get wrong about these two areas, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one fits your lifestyle and which one could end up being a mistake. And make sure you stay till the end because number 10 is the one that hits people the hardest, especially relocation buyers.
Let's start with point number 1. People say they're basically the same. One of the things we hear from buyers is, aren't Prescott Valley and Chino Valley basically the same? And on a map and the satellite view, they kind of look that way. They're close to each other, they're both part of the Quad Cities, and they're both more affordable than Prescott. But in real life, they feel completely different. Prescott Valley feels more like a suburb. You've got neighbors, sidewalks, more structure, and definitely more shopping. Chino Valley feels more rural, with more open land, fewer subdivisions, less commercial areas, and more space between homes.
And here's where people get into trouble. They come in thinking these towns are interchangeable, and then they move into one of them and realize it doesn't match how they actually live. If you're someone who likes convenience, structure, and being close to everything, Chino Valley can feel a little too spread out. And if you're someone who wants peace, space, and fewer neighbors, Prescott Valley can feel a little too busy, and that mismatch is where the regret starts.
Point number 2 is growth and development. Okay, let's talk about growth because this is a big one. Prescott Valley has grown a lot over the last several years, and it's continuing to grow. You've got more homes being built, more shopping, more restaurants, and more infrastructure going in. It feels like a place that's expanding and evolving, but Chino Valley is different. It's growing but much slower. And that slower growth is actually something a lot of people love. You've got more open land, less congestion, and more of that small town feel. But here's the flip side. Some buyers move there thinking it's peaceful, and then a few months in, they start saying, wow, this is really quiet, like really quiet. So the question you have to ask yourself is, do you want growth and convenience, or do you want space and quiet? Because those things feel very different day to day.
Point number 3 is housing differences. Let's talk about housing because this is where people get surprised. In Prescott Valley, you're going to see more planned subdivisions, more HOA communities, newer construction, and consistency from house to house. So Prescott Valley feels more predictable. But in Chino Valley, it's a completely different setup. You'll find larger lots, acreage properties, custom homes, and a mix of property types, and this is something buyers don't expect. You could have a really nice home on a couple acres, and right next door, there could be a manufactured home or even a small business, and that mix catches people off guard. We've had buyers say, we didn't realize it would feel like this. So it's not just about the house, it's about what's around the house too.
Point number 4 is price versus value. Let's talk about price because this one gets people in trouble. A lot of buyers see that Chino Valley is cheaper and they immediately think it's the better deal. And sometimes it is, but not always, because what you're really doing is trading convenience for space. In Chino Valley, you might get more land, a bigger property, and a lower purchase price. But you're giving up proximity to shopping, restaurants, and medical facilities. And here's what happens. Some buyers move there to save money and then realize they would have gladly paid more to be closer to everything. That's the part people don't think through.
Okay, let's get to point number 5, restaurants and nightlife. Here's something people don't always think about until they live here, and that's food and things to do. In Prescott Valley, you've got more options. You've got more chain restaurants, more variety, and more convenience. If you want something quick, it's there. Chino Valley is different. There are fewer options, but the places that are there, people love, like Essence Kitchen and Paraiso Italian. And there are some local bars that have a really strong following. It's more of that small town where there's an everyone knows each other's vibe thing going on. But again, here's where people get caught off guard. If you're used to having a lot of options, Chino Valley can feel limited. If you like simple, local, and familiar, you might love it.
Now to point number 6, commute and location. Let's talk about something that sounds small, but becomes a big deal really fast, and that's driving. Prescott Valley, you're about 20 minutes from downtown Prescott. From Chino Valley, you're more like 25 to 35 minutes, depending on how far north you are in Chino Valley. And that doesn't sound like a huge difference until you're going to do it multiple times a week. Costco, major shopping, and the hospital, not to mention that Prescott Valley does have the East Campus of the Yavapai Regional Medical Center, Dignity Health. And here's what we hear all the time. I didn't realize how much I'd be driving. That's one of the fastest regrets people have.
Point number 7 is healthcare access. This is a big one, especially for retirees. Prescott Valley has easier access to medical care, and since they have the East Campus of Dignity Health, as we mentioned before, you also have specialists and other services. Chino Valley does have clinics, but for anything major, you're going into Prescott. And for some people, that's not a big deal. But for others, it becomes a concern pretty quickly, especially if health becomes more of a priority over time.
Point number 8 is lifestyle and feel. Now let's talk about overall lifestyle. Prescott Valley feels more suburban, more structured, and more busy. Chino Valley feels more open, quiet, and rural. And here's something interesting. We've had couples come in and one person loves Chino Valley and the other one hates it. One wants space and quiet and the other wants convenience and activity. So this is where you really have to be honest with yourself. What does your daily life actually look like?
Point number 9 is animals, land, and freedom. Now this is where Chino Valley really stands out. If you want horses, chickens, goats, and space, Chino Valley gives you that freedom. Prescott Valley, not so much, unless you're in North Prescott Valley, where some roads could be dirt and the neighborhoods could be mixed. For the most part in Prescott Valley, there are more rules, more restrictions, and smaller lots. Some people love the freedom that Chino Valley allows, and others realize they don't actually want to deal with maintenance, land, or animals. And believe me, it's a lifestyle.
Point number 10, and this is the biggest mistake buyers make. This is the one that surprises people the most. Buyers choose based on price or land or what looks good on paper instead of how they actually live. And then after they move, they feel disconnected or inconvenienced or sometimes even isolated. And that's the hardest mistake to make because now you're already moved.
And honestly, this is exactly why people reach out to us, because it's not just about buying a house, it's about choosing the right area for your lifestyle. So if you're thinking about moving to Prescott, Prescott Valley, or Chino Valley, reach out to us. And here's another tip. If you're thinking about moving to Chino Valley, instead of staying in downtown Prescott, stay in one of the hotels or a bed and breakfast in Chino Valley. That way you get a sense of what it's all about. There's a Days Inn hotel and also the Primrose Inn and Suites off Highway 89 in Chino Valley. I had clients who stayed at the Primrose when they were thinking about Chino Valley, and they loved it. You can call us, text us, or email us, whatever works best for you. All of our information is in the description below. And don't forget, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So smash that like button and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. As always, we're happy to walk you through your situation and help you make the right decision the first time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.